Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe, as the Holy Russian Empire. In the last video, the Lord showed us a way. The church are traitors. The people are traitors. All are traitors to Russia and God, except for our holy regent. The clock moves ever closer to midnight. And, well, we know what's best for Russia. Even if we must bring it kicking, screaming, we will. Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is death. We tire of mercy. We tire of traitors going free because their crimes were judged to be insignificant by a soft-spined judge. We tire of our soldiers who, with faintness gripping their hearts, refuse to bring down the executioner's blade on a Jewish neck. We tire of the doubters, dissenters, and rabble-rousers in our own inner circle, who whisper of treachery and deviancy behind our backs. Yet still they demanded of us, the devil citing scripture to his purpose. Death is a mercy. I don't think this button does anything anymore. I think it just... You know, I worry about, a little bit, about how long it's going to take. And if we can make it to 71, and even if we can make it to 71... Yep, I was about to say. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you shall have distress, but have confidence. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. One's mind is greatly uneased as a result of recent alterations to one's home. It's much quieted now. The new servants are much more agreeable, less inclined to idle chatter, and, more importantly, less inclined to idle hands. It felt as though every pair of hands besides one's own was idle before now. Every man knows the devil has a multitude of uses for such things. Replacement of the previous palatal staff was not as easy as one hoped. They'd been trained well, utterly inured to pain. But the Sturmoviki were trained better. One hoped, no, knew, that one of them would eventually break. No amount of Jewish brainwashing can render one immune to the lash of divine truth. So now they plague Russia no longer. Our blessed Tsarevich will never need to fear unfaithful servants with the lesson that his region has imparted today. The natural order has been disrupted for so long that one is inclined to forget that the servants are a class unto themselves. They have an alarming tendency towards laxity and corruption when spared the whip for too long. Sometimes, as recently, the gangrenous presence of treason goes unnoticed and sets in. At that point, there is little use in delicate surgery. One must bring both the saw and the cauterizing flame and set about the task with ruthless efficiency. The trick is to slice deep and ignore the spurting blood. The clock has struck the 12th hour, steadily rising forward. The risen sun bows before the regent. Hold on, is that... Okay, I think we're nearing on midnight, so I think we got to... Okay. This is a bit gamey, I admit, but we have to make sure that we're able to make Russia whole. So through that, the Empire Eternal. Holy Russia is the true kingdom of God on earth. We are utterly unassailable, preserved by the blessing of the Lord. Even the Israel of old pales before our glory. There is nothing wrought by a man who can threaten us. No weapon can strike us down. No illness can take our region. No obstacle can impede our quest to find Vazarvik. He lives. We live. Holy Russia lives, as it always has and always will, the only pure nation upon this benign earth. Let's move ever onwards. Sorry, old Nikolai, looks like you're on invasion duty. God demands that we do this. There is no time to waste. Taboritsky sat upon his throne for the first time in months. Fingers steepled and legs crossed, he stared out into the yet empty throne room before him. It was the middle of the day, yet no one came to the regent's palace anymore unless they had to. That struck him as curious. Where were the petitioners and the mothers asking him to bless their children? Where were the generals kneeling before him with news of great conquest? Where was his trusted spy master with news of Tsarevich Alexei's whereabouts? More than physical isolation, Taboritsky also had a gut feeling that something was wrong with the throne room. He'd first sensed it months ago, and had kept it confined to his study ever since. But today he had to know if it was real, if his mind was just playing tricks on him. And indeed, there it was. Loneliness. Not the absence of people, but of God. In that throne room, with its golden throne and gilded, mosaic-covered ceiling, God seemed curiously absent. Goosebumps ran up Taboritsky's spine as he contemplated the thought. It wasn't possible. All he'd done for God, Russia, and Vazarvik. He couldn't be alone. He couldn't have made a mistake. The regent leapt from his throne, suddenly disturbed and trembling. Abject terror filled his body, and his blood turned to ice. But he hadn't any idea why. Striding from his throne room and back to his study, he slumped down in front of the hearth, gazing into the flames. And a spark of doubt flickered his soul. I beheld a pale horse. The clock strikes once. Come down. Sit in dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne for the daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called delicate and tender. Isaiah 47:1. The dishonor of the modern world knows no bounds. Even before the arrival of Red Judas, the Jews were corrupting the fair sex with cosmopolitan ideas. The majority of Russian women have fully accepted the degeneration of their nature that was encouraged by the Bolsheviks. Fully half of our nation's population have been transfigured into whores of Babylon, all venom and rebellion. One despairs of it, this affront, but one cannot retreat in the face of evil. All pure Russians must stand, shoulder to shoulder, against the libertine devilry that has corrupted our women. No longer shall we, as godly men with the fire of faith and tradition in our hearts, allow our wives, sisters, and daughters to prostitute themselves in the streets, or spread their legs for subhuman beasts. The Lord thus commanded the Israelites, the woman that shall lie under any beast, shall be killed together with the same. Their blood be upon them. Let it be the same for the descendants of a chosen people. Let the filth and sin of modern woman be scourged away with a stone and steel and fire. She must be brought to heel and confined to her God-given place in the world. Wives, be subject to your husbands, as is behoveth in the Lord. The clock is struck at the 13th hour, picking up speed forward. Heaven's light shall guide us to our triumph. I thought it was a... No, I mean, 13th hour. Is it a 24-hour system? Am I just a dumb American and I didn't think it'd be a 24-hour system? I never understood how the clockworks really works. All I know is that when midnight strikes, you're fucked. I mean, we'll wait a while to declare war if we don't have to. But yeah. There goes with Phalangists. I'm starting to wonder if I should have gone back at all to restart it. Because right now, I think I'm doing fine. Time-wise. I don't know. I don't know if I can tell. Clockworks. But the Lord is with me as a strong warrior. Therefore they persecute me. Therefore they persecute me shall fall, and shall be weak. They shall be greatly confounded, because they have not understood the everlasting reproach, which never shall be effaced. Jeremiah 20:11. Soldierly conduct. Such a farcical notion. Could the Germans ever have triumphed under the Bolsheviks? Have they not rid themselves of the fetters imposed on them by Zionist international law? No. They recognized the falsehoods and obscurantism that kept the Jews and their minions safe from righteous retaliation. They wisely set aside their compassion, steeled themselves for what needed to be done. And yet Christ's own soldiers remained constraints. The manacles of Jewish weakness stay their feet. How can Tsar Alexei ever hope to sleep soundly, knowing that his defenders lack the courage to see battles through to the very end? These feeble tendencies must be uprooted. The soil of Russian manhood must be watered with the blood of heretics, heathens, and subhumans. The Emperor's men must have hearts of iron. Hey, I know that one. Souls of cold steel, minds like machines. A soldier of Christ and the Empire should feel naught but hate for his foe. For any who stand against Russia stand against all that is good and pure. They insult both God and man. They serve only the devil and his Semitic offspring. One seethes with anger at the staid Jewish morality that shackles us. How is one to expunge this evil from the hearts of one's subjects? Why won't they just follow orders? The clock is struck at the 14th hour, picking up speed forward. The people celebrate an empire of 1,000 years. We'll wait until that's all these are done before we hit that. Just because, again, I thought it was gonna... I didn't do a test game for this, because I kind of knew how to... I kind of had an idea how to handle the clockworks, or I thought I did. Apparently I have a fundamental misunderstanding how the clock works. Clock forward. But hey, we have better industrial expertise now. Somehow. Let's work towards our project ever closer. I thought our stability was positive for a second. I think it's at minus 36%. Yeah, that's rough. Right there. Infiltrate Siberian institutions. Destruction has come upon thee that dwellest in lands. The time has come, the day of slaughter is near, and not to the joy of mountains. Ezekiel 7:7. I have just awoken, sweating in awe. I behold such sublime sights in the sky tonight. My mind tumbles through the ages, the river of time flowing in reverse. I beheld a harsh, arid land populated by hardy warrior people, and I knew that it was Israel. Legions of men shining with God's light marched forward, the Ark of the Covenant in their midst. At their head was a man who could only been the great warlord, Joshua. I watched as we fell upon the lanes of Canaan. They razed 32 cities to ash and bore away the heathens' gold, silver, and jewels to Israel. The bloods of unbelievers ran knee deep through the streets of Jericho as a pure race indulged in the blessings of victory, won through righteous struggle against a subhuman foe. I am resolved to a new course. We, the Russians, the pure Russians, are the chosen race, as I always believed. We are the people of Moses, our legacy usurped by Judeo-Khazar mongrels. We are the purest and greatest of all nations, and the others, they are Canaan, and I will be our Joshua. The clock has struck the 15th hour, picking speed forwards. Bazarvik, far away, reaches out his hand. If it's a 24-hour clock, we have plenty of time before we need to declare war. In fact, I probably didn't need to unlock that at all. So be it. That's how the cookie crumbles, it seems. Also, the Reichsstadt is existing for far longer than it really should be. I was about to say, if they ended up going with guaranteed survival, they get eaten by Burgundy. Improved jet fighters. Yeah. Improved CAS. We might as well wait until this goes forward. Actually, we could probably just wait longer. Iraq collapses into civil war. Who would have thought Iraq's having civil strife? Salazar's victory in Portugal. Another crisis erupts. People don't want words. They want the sound of battle. The battle of destiny. Black gold, red sand. And Saul said to him, Why have you conspired against me, thou, and the son of Isaiah? And thou hast given him bread and sword, and hast consulted the Lord for him, that he should rise up against me, continuing a traitor to this day. 1 Samuel 22:13. Setbacks in the internal struggle, but Sturmoviki have been most disappointing as of late. Last week they lost a convoy of 300 Jews, making it for the Finnish border. How does one lose sight of an entire convoy? We are not in foreign territory. Every true Russian knows his homeland like he does his palm. Disobedience. It has to be. Whatever exclamation would suffice. Was it born of a softness of heart, or from a fistful of gold slathered in honeyed words? Have to send their own fellows out to find them. Yet more work, more time spent chasing down traitors when we should be cleansing Russia. Endless vexation is my lot, it seems. This cannot continue. Tsarevich Alexei cannot rule without loyal and competent service to delegate responsibilities to. Jewish agents have infiltrated the imperial household easily enough. How deep does their influence run elsewhere? Have to dig deeper, establish new levels of oversight with trust in men. Why must they torment us so? The clock has struck the 16th hour. Picking up speed forward. Our vision is secure, and our path is destined. There goes old Wally boy. Hanging in there somehow. Oh yeah, this little state that broke free. What are they called? Kenya? Is that Kenya maybe? I don't know. Well, so goes on Iberia. Tokyo standoff. Of course, this world grows madder and madder. And shit, we have more time than I realized we would. So, Oh. In the midst of a church, she shall open his mouth, and shall fill him with the spirit of wisdom and understanding, shall clothe them with a robe of glory. Sirach 15:5. The sermons spoken as Imperial Majesty's churches are not what they should be. There's a vapidity about our clergymen, a miasma of apathy. There is no fire in their speech, no exhortations to carry out the Lord's work. They speak to the commoners of simple virtues, daily matters, and pointless distractions. Where's the heat and the hate? Where's the passionate ardor of a true believer? Where's the hellfire and brimstone to cajole the wretched sinner from his wicked torpor? Has the Holy Spirit abandoned our men of cloth, or is the inverse the case? To what, or to whom, do they owe their survival under the Bolsheviks, if that is the case? Could the ghost of Judas haunt even the Mother Church itself? Are the great cathedrals of Russia beckoned in gold, delivered by Jewish hands? I cannot be certain, but why, then, did they not take flight with the whites? Abandoning this benign land, why stay and tolerate Bolshevik rule? I shudder to think of the implications. I must sleep with one eye open until I can be certain of the clergy's loyalty. Have the Pharisees returned? How's Tibet doing? Not well. Don't have much in the way of industry in Tibet, or infrastructure. Well, we got our next army figured out. We could fucking consider our destiny, I guess. See if anything new comes. This clock has struck the 17th hour, picking up speed forwards. The courts of old bless. The courts of old bless us from heaven. I'll probably wait until better research facilities somehow. So it's about 2 months in between from what is it? Let's see. First one's in October. Or this last one was in October. So December? I don't know, clock's ticking down. I'm starting to wonder if this Alexei guy is going to show up. Apparently we can't really fight back black market influence. Yep, okay. 2 months. But if any of you want wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men abundantly and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. James 1:5. God has spoken to me. As sleep begins to take me, I saw amongst the coals of my fading hearth threads of fire that danced and took shape in the gloom. Brighter and brighter they burned until I could hardly stand to look at them, but I could not avert my gaze, for I knew that what I beheld was the light of heaven, shining through the veil between worlds. At first I could make no sense of what I saw. It was just a jumble of lines, blazing in the air, yet emitting no light upon their surroundings. But then I had an epiphany. These were the same shapes and symbols that I so often see glimmering in the darkness, or in my dreams. Applying the usual methods of interpretation, I discerned distinct shapes, as one might draw a constellation in the night sky. A crossed reef in flames, a many-pointed star, R, Latin letters IHSV, a skull with bleeding eyes, and a snake for a tongue. I believe I am being warned of something, but what? The Lord does not deign to speak to his unworthy subject in simple words. I must think and pray. There is no time for sleep. I must discern the precise nature of the threat, or all's in jeopardy. Fires destroy, but also educate. Well, we have time still, so, might as well go into our old stomping grounds. We don't really need allow Diplo. Costs 38 power, 190 days. Will be done by June. Diplo Let's move to Uzbekistan. Yeah, I don't really have much else to do right now. I mean, well, we can officially start. We officially get to start reunification. I think I'll wait until the 20th hour, maybe? And then just kind of go for it. CSR, I'm imagining, is going to be a pretty easy one to deal with. These guys are going to be a bit harder, I can tell. It'll probably be a real grind, a real powwow, but I mean, I got nothing but time to kill right now. Uh-oh. The way of the warrior is to be found in dying. Yamamoto Sunitomo. It's down to this. Kind of fitting it happened then in our game. Our academic base is somehow improved. Purifying iniquity half taught my mouth, and thou imitatest the tongue of blasphemers. Job 15:5. Scheming, vile Jewish rats! I'm afflicted by every curse and manner of treachery from hell's own pits. I've been blind, foolish beyond measure, but now I see, for God has imparted a great gift to me. As I prayed, I heard the voice, speaking in tongues forgotten to all but God. Its power burned my very soul. I felt acid dripping in my eyes, barbed wire dragged through my veins. My devotion transcends pain. I was taken to the edge of the abyss, and I have learned. When the fever of revelation passed, I was slumped against the freezing gold of the altar, sweat drenching my trembling form, but the sights and the glory and power had been shown to me. Now when I close my eyes and think back, I can see myself soaring in the azure vaults of heaven, my fingers skimming the golden clouds. I know now, as I thought I knew before but never truly did, that God himself has infused me with his light. I radiated through my innards, though my innards were aligned with blazing phosphorus. I can concentrate and see the depths of corruption in a man's heart. When I beheld the attendant priest, I saw that his form was teeming with hellish maggots, the rod of Satan and Zionism manifest upon his flesh. I yearned to reach out with my bare hands and drag up fistfuls of black tar from the bottom of his soul, but the strength in his arms was born of hell itself. Again and again I struck him with my holy scepter of office, pummeling that insectoid skull until the screaming stopped. The blood of the wicked once more stained my hands. These very plages. A sacrifice, a sanctified offering to God. I made a holocaust of a sinner's body. Felt God's blessing cleanse my soul of turbulence. Now I pray. I pray for him to impart further visions to me, to see his glory into my weathered skin. Amen. 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 So, we got, let's see. The clock has struck the 19th hour, picking up speed forward. The sunset rays glint off to golden towers. And we somehow have better research speed and coring time than fucking Aryan LARPers over here. Or who would be here. Let's advance our developmental phase. Get it going so we can have more nukes. So we'll send these guys over Central Siberia when the time comes. And these guys get some fighters. Yeah. We can all just station them at the same place, so let's do that. It's time. It's no longer time to waste resources on civilian industry. Instead, let's push forward. Up our speed of construction. Up it all. The days of visitation are come. The days of repaying are come. Know ye, old Israel, the prophet was foolish, the spiritual man was mad, for the multitude of thy inquiry and the multitude of thy madness. Hosea 9:7. One was unfortunately indisposed recently. It appears I was taking ill. I have little recollection of the past several days. My physician has insisted that I rest. Treasonous talk. Treasonous. Of course not treasoning. What are you writing? I had no time. I had to sleep for a time. The night and the dream were long. There were no lights. The sky eluded me, though I searched long for its silken weave. Becoming harder to piece the lines together, it seems it's meaningless, you fool! I don't understand. I can't read the lines with holes, but darkness, with gleaming altar, I like cold and empty. It's cold. It's so cold. The Holy Russian Empire declares war on the Far Eastern Socialist Republic and the Central Siberian Republic. Go. Off they go. The clock has struck the 20th hour, picking up speed forward. The dusk falls, yet the light is borne onwards. And onwards we go. Now we face resistance, but God has stuck with us for this long. I don't see why it won't last for longer. Go. Onwards. What's the justification come along? We'll be done in June. The Lord give thee dust for rain upon thy land, and let ashes come down from heaven upon thee till thou be consumed. Deuteronomy 28:24. Something's wrong. I can't hear him. It was so recently that I heard the choirs of heaven reverberating within my soul. I would wake to the sounds of angels, but no longer. Now I wake to the creaking of the bed, brought about by my own flash ashing around in my sleep. I hear no birdsong, no crackling of the fire, no quiet illicit conversations between the guards who keep watch outside my door. There's only silence. There's only cold ash in the earth. When I open the windows, I hear only the howling wind and the distant thrum of factories. It does not fill the emptiness in my soul. It sickens me. Countless times I have tried to bear it, but it always ends the same way. The blessed regent of a holy Russian empire, hunched over his privy, voiding his stomach until nothing comes up but searing bile. Then, once the heaving and choking stops, silence. Silence and the creeping dread that trickles down my spine like ice water when I turn my mind to the Empire. Do I fear my own creation? The clock has struck the 21st hour, picking up speed forward. The radiance of divine revelation is a beacon in the blackness. They push back, but we push ever more forward. June 26th will go after Uzbekistan. Because what else are we going to do? There we go. Bukhara. Declare war. Conquer. I'm going to just take Tashkent. I think we're good. Maybe Samarkand as well. If even that's necessary. War as hell. Now go, men. Your nation calls for you. Go. Faster. Move. You know, as much as we gave the Bolsheviks shit for throwing their men at the, you know, what am I trying to say? For throwing men at the Germans, we're pretty much doing the same for our fellow Russians. Whereas I reigned over many nations, and had brought all the world into my domain. I was not willing to abuse the greatness of my power, but to govern my subjects with clemency and lenity. They might live quietly without any terror, and might enjoy peace, which is desired by all men. Sturmoviki performance is faltering. They have reported only 3,482 confirmed kills in last month. One knows, through the numbers, that one seeks in its Viscayan, that there remains many more undesirables yet to be removed. That Zarlax's foremost offenders have become so indolent and effective is most concerning. Have you read this before? I think I'm actually going insane. It's actually fitting. Spare the rod, spoil the child. So is often said. And are we not all God's children? Disciplining measures will be intensified and carried out more regularly. Decimation comes to mind. Civilian anti-Jew measures have been more fruitful. Promises of a financial reward are a powerful incentive. German methods of work once more effective as ever. The search for Tsarevich Alexei proceeds as usual. Leads are scarce, only I can perceive the sky. It's difficult to communicate its message to lesser men. Still, hope lives yet. My hand is steady, my mind is intact, I am not insane, my mind is steady, my mind is intact, I am not insane, my hand is steady, my mind is intact, I am not insane, my mind is steady, my mind is steady, I'm not insane, my hand